I'm Buddy Davis. When I was just a kid, this dazzling, difficult chase sequence was filmed by the great director Max Sennett. The stars are Sennett's world-renowned, weird, wild, and wacky Keystone Cops. This is the working model for the French Connection and all the other great chase sequences that followed. These stunts stand the test of time. I've seen thousands of weird, wild, and wacky moments as I've traveled from coast to coast covering the big games, the great events. Now, I'll share the best of them with you, my all-time favorites. You might even want to try a few. After all, there's a little bit of weird, wild, and wacky in all of us. In France, I found a true thrill seeker. Watch this fella jump from the Eiffel Tower tied only to a long rubber band. He came within 8 feet of the ground and bounced up and down like a yo-yo for 5 minutes. A 1950s favorite of mine is Air Force Captain Joe Kittinger, weighing in at 150 pounds and wearing an extra 155 pounds of gear. Joe's testing a new Air Force safety chute. To prove the chute's efficiency, he will free fall 16 miles. That's right, 16 miles before he opens a chute. Here goes. Joe's gloves leaked, which made his hand swell up. Otherwise, he was in perfect shape as he set new world records for free fall, balloon flight, and the longest parachute jump ever. This is more my speed, a ride for the future for theme parks and state fairs. Hey, nice flip, kid. 1932, a ride from the past. Watch the engineer jump out. Good move, fella. He knows what's coming. The stunt was staged at the Iowa State Fair to demonstrate the clash between candidates Franklin Roosevelt and Herbert Hoover. Here's one of those stunts you might want to try yourself, although you will need a little help from a couple of friends. Wait till you see this. Is this guy brave or simply weird? At your local airport, there's always a couple of guys who can help you test your harness. Ah, true ecstasy. That's just the beginning. Here, get a friend with a light plane, not necessarily a new one, and get up there where the whole world can see you. And there he is. This fella is working on skin tone. Now you notice he's swinging free, held only by his hair. Wearing a sweater because of the cool breezes, this man has one of the firmest set of facial muscles I've ever seen. Now, if that seems too difficult, you can get some of that feeling at a California beauty salon specializing in aero cuts. Customers, after signing a waiver, are strapped to their seats for a gravity-defying experience. It's weird, it's wild, it's wacky, and it works.
What prompted me to try this was my girlfriend had it done, and she looks absolutely terrific.
This stuntman holds a very special place in my heart. I love this guy. You judge for yourself. The stunt, bike down the slide, then fly through the air for 65 feet and land in 3 feet of water. Here goes. How about a big hand for P.J. Regans? Take a bow, P.J. P.J. would have laughed at this modern-day version. They need a whole lake to land in. My new winter sport is paraskiing. It's gentle, it feels good, it looks gorgeous, and it's the only sport I've ever seen where you can fall up. But this is just the calm before the storm. Ski flying is the current weird, wild, and wacky favorite. And then there's the giant ski jump. If no pain, no gain is accurate, oof, we're watching a true champion. During World War II, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, through the Army-Navy Screen magazine, sent a gift to our GIs.
I understand that all the boys that's over there, they're going to have a big baseball team, and I understand you're going to be the manager.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well, if you're going to be the manager of this baseball team, I would like to join myself.
That's all right.
I would like to know some of the guys' names on the team, so when I meet them on the street or in the ballpark, I'll be able to say hello to them.
Well, naturally, I'll introduce you to the boys and a regular bunch of boys we've got. But you know, strange as it may seem, they give these ball players very peculiar names.
You need funny names.
Strange names like Dizzy Dean and
Daffy.
Daffy Dean.
I'm their
and-
cousin.
Who are you?
Goofy.
Goofy. Well, let's see. We have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
And then I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Yeah, you know the
And
fellow's
then-
names?
Yes.
Well, who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Yes.
I mean the guy playing first.
Who?
The fellow playing first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's
Well,
name.
go ahead and tell me.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first.
Look, who is on
Have
first?
you got a first baseman?
Yes.
Who's playing there?
Yes.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Don't mix them up. What is on second?
Who's on second?
No, who is on first?
I don't know.
He's on third now. We're not talking about him.
How did I get on third base?
You just mentioned his name.
If I mentioned the third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No, who's playing first?
Never mind first. I don't know. What's the guy's name on third base?
What's on second?
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Third base.
Have you got a third baseman?
Certainly.
Then who's playing third?
Who is playing first?
What's playing first?
No, what's on second?
I don't know.
He's
Third
on
base.
Third base.
You got an outfield?
Well, surely.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought I'd ask.
I just thought I'd tell you.
So tell me who's playing left field.
No, who's playing first?
What's playing first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third base, yes.
Have you got a catcher?
Well, naturally.
The catcher's name.
Today.
Today. And tomorrow's pitcher.
Now you've got it.
That's all. We got a couple of days on the team.
Well, I
That's all.
can't help
You know,
that.
I used to be a catcher, too. I'll get behind the plate, do some fancy catching.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's pitching on my team, and the heavy hitter gets up,
Yeah.
Joseph Valentine, the heavy hitter. Now, Valentine gets up, and he bunched the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he bunched the ball, me being a good catcher, I'm going to throw Valentine out of first base, so I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now, that's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about!
That's all you have to do.
All I know is I throw the ball to first base. Now, whoever it is drops the ball, so Valentine runs to second.
Yes.
Now, I pick up the ball, and I throw it to who? Whoever it is drops the ball, he throws it to what? What throws it? I don't know. I don't know if throws it back to tomorrow. That's triple play.
That's right.
Another guy gets up, and it's a long fly ball to be caught. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Oh, that's a shortstop.
Okay, now here come some of my favorite mascots who will prove beyond any doubt that there's much more out there than the San Diego chicken. This tiger makes a great mascot, but he demands tender, loving care, and he usually gets what he demands. You know, the textbook says, if you go this route, it's important to find an animal who trusts you. Oh, I think it's important that you trust the animal. With this type of pet, breath mints come in handy. He's not heavy. He's my tiger. You know, there's nothing like a warm wool coat on a frosty winter day. If you happen to be a sheep, there's nothing like a well-styled burlap to cover your warm wool coat. This is one considerate shepherd. He didn't want his little lamb to feel the winter's wrath. Would you believe he did it for the entire flock? I remember I once told my wife she would even look good in a burlap bag. This wasn't what I had in mind. The mechanical horse. If America's oats all end up in our oat bran, this may be the horse of the future. Gas him up and he goes. He could fool anybody but a horse. Now, this horse of the past is a true immortal. Okay, now who's the wise guy who thought this one up? Darby Dan. Dan won the 1938 National Roller Skating Rink Pairs Competition, all by himself. I love dogs, and I'm a sucker for a mutt with a good trick. Hey, same to you, fella. I watched this pup for 10 minutes before I figured out it's easier if your knees are that close to the water. Of course, nobody's perfect. Take a bow wow, my friend. Here's an acrobatic pup. And how about a living shaggy dog story? Is this a fearless fella? I mean the dog. You think you've seen it all? This is just a passenger puppy. How about a driving dog? I told you I was always a sucker for a dog with a good trick. Well, you know, this has got to be number one. Buddy. Good old Buddy. My number one canine cruiser. You're about to meet a jogger's best friend, Wilbur the jogging turkey. Please, no Thanksgiving jokes. I got to tell you, these folks would rather eat their grandfather. Wilbur gets tired after about 2 miles, but when this turkey's on the track, you'd think he was 6 laps ahead of the field, closing in on the finish line, and ready to collect the gold medal. And now, live from the farm, a salute to all my favorite mascots.
Get along, get hip, little doggies, get along. Better be on your way. Get along, get hip, little doggies, and he trucked them on down the old fairway.
Singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Singing his cowboy songs, he's just too much. He's got a knocked out western accent with a hollow touch. He was raised on local weed. He's what you call a swing half-breed. Singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come-a-tie-ya-ya-ya, come-a-tie-yip-li-ya.
You know, baseball's had its share of wacky moments, especially in spring training. Everybody conga. But for my money, I gotta tell you, the 1904 New York Giants of manager John McGraw, that's John on the right, provided the weirdest, wildest, and wackiest moment in baseball history. The Giants had won the 1904 National League pennant, and everyone looked forward to seeing them play the American League champs from Boston in the World Series. But manager McGraw didn't think Boston was good enough for his team. "I refuse to play Boston," he said. "Let them get a reputation first." The 1904 World Series became the World Series that was never played. As for weird basketball moments, you're watching the first official game in the history of America's National Basketball Association, but it was played in a foreign country. The New York Knicks defeated the Huskies, but which foreign country did the Huskies come from? Canada. I think the wackiest football play of the century was the off-the-bench tackle of Dickie Magle. "Here Goes Dickie" by frustrated Tommy Lewis. Watch Tommy come off the bench, oof, in the 1954 Cotton Bowl. Nearby the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, another classic moment. All the beer you can drink for 60 cents in 60 minutes. Now, at the time, you could fill a mug for a dime, so these folks had to do some serious drinking. 60 cents, can you imagine? Wonder what they charge for an hour of beer today. In Oregon, the quest was the world's largest omelet, 10,000 eggs. It calls for a large pan and a well-padded person who's used to hot foots. That's a weird lady. Her paddle must have come from one heck of a canoe. Why would anyone make a 10,000 egg omelet? Only to top a 9,000 egg omelet. I recommend adding the salt and pepper while you're cooking. Otherwise, you'll need about 5,000 shakers when serving. There's enough cholesterol in there to bring down the Jolly Green Giant. Another classic competition of the 30s, the onion peeling contest. The contestants were a group of Hollywood starlets, one of whom had won a Stan Laurel look-alike contest earlier that day. She was going for a rare double. There's our girl on the right. No one had ever before won a Stan Laurel look-alike contest and an onion peeling contest on the same day. Could she do it? She did it and went home with 2 first prizes, a Swiss Army knife and a portrait of Oliver Hardy. Here's my favorite way to train for a boxing match. Here's another way. Big city kids had a barrel of fun back in the good old days with this innovative street game. Last man left in a barrel wins. But I gotta tell you, my favorite superstar of the 30s was the great bowler, Floretta McCutcheon. She threw 10 300 games and 9 299s. You can look it up, it's true. Floretta had cool. Floretta first came to fame in 1927 when she challenged America's male champion Jimmy Smith to a match. She beat him. He asked for a rematch, and she not only beat him again, but bowled a 300 game in the process, like pitching a perfect game in the World Series. Floretta McCutcheon may not have looked the part, but she was the equal of any bowler who ever lived. George Bush never matched Floretta's form. You're supposed to let go of the ball, George. On the other hand, Floretta never made it to the White House either. Dogs love to play, and I got to tell you, I'll always go the extra mile to watch a bunch of pups play Frisbee. Put a dog and a Frisbee together, and you've got poetry. But when dogs and people and turkeys and birds join in competition, well, that's something else. Here's a turkey calling contest. These guys actually sound better than the turkeys. And then there's the bird callers. Here's a hairy competition I discovered in Italy. The locals say this brings out the devil in the best of us. The winner! Of course, what's most amazing is that these guys wear them this way all the time. In New York State, in a grape stomping contest, they give serious cash prizes. The winners are those who produce the most juice, any way they can. Anytime you're offered a glass of wine, just put this out of your mind. This Japanese screaming contest is about as weird as it gets.
No more! Leaky! Nukes!
The 22-year-old winner insists that deep breathing gives him the edge. I'm not going to argue with this guy. Bess Truman versus an airplane in 1945. It was, and is, the weirdest, wildest, and wackiest moment a First Lady ever faced. The airplane won. They had to break the bottle with a hammer. Watch it. Well, this may be weird, wild, and wacky, but when inventors stretch the limits with their innovative minds, it's movie magic for me. Here's a way to find out if a safety helmet really works. It works. The Amphi-car is for real. It travels nicely over land and water. There have been at least a dozen versions of this car boat through the years. I can tell you from personal experience that you get very wet, but it's a kick, and it really works. I guess the real question about this stroke of genius, and others like it, do we really need it? The Volkswagen version battled heavy seas and strong winds for 8 hours, bound for Tasmania, before it was finally forced to turn around and come back to Australia. I'll take the plane. And while I do prefer regularly scheduled flights, the flights of fancy by backyard airplane inventors are priceless. This little girl's father wanted to fulfill a dream, his dream. An angel he wisheth, and an angel he gotteth. Today's backyard inventors have finally made significant progress. They figured out that if your craft can't hack it, it's a good idea to have deep water as a cushion. Here's a daredevil baby who simply blows my mind. The fact that it's my grandson has nothing to do with it. What agility, courage, and style. This superstar of tomorrow is the last of my all-time favorites for this edition. But with kids like this leading the way, we're guaranteed a fresh supply of the weird, the wild, and the wacky in the future. Goodbye, little friend.
Imitation of a railroad train leaving the station. Singing a song and writing every word exactly at the same time that each word is being sung and keeping up a perfect rhythm throughout the song. Should I feel exactly as I feel? Should I confess I love you? Should I recite beneath the pale moonlight and swear by those of you? Now, girls, see how simple it is to do all that? And remember, when your boss gets angry at you or you want a raise, just sing that little song to him.